Hello and welcome back, and I'm here with an update. So, as we know, Prince Harry is suing Murdoch News Group newspapers NGN for multiple unlawful acts committed on behalf of its tabloids, The Sun and the now defunct News of the World, from the mid-1990s to 2016. So a lot of revelations have come out. So let's start off with the main one, where there has been a reporter on Twitter who was updating on the case, and this is what she wrote, quote, "Here's what we learned on day 2 of the Duke of Sussex vs. NGN hearing. Prince Harry was watching on a video link from LA as more shocking details about alleged hacking and blagging at The Sun and News of the World were revealed in court documents." She went on to say, quote, "We also saw emails which reveal the Queen gave her, quote, full authority for Prince Harry to seek a resolution because she knew about, quote, the scale and effect of hacking and surveillance on her family." So that's wonderful. And as you can see here, when you highlight who she is a correspondent at ITV News. So that is humongous and a huge deal. So there's an interesting article that I came across talking about Prince Harry's legal actions. They went on to say that the court documents revealed by the Duke of Sussex's latest phone hacking claim against the tabloid press have sent out a volley of unanswered questions. And they go on to say that that is less than ideal for some members of the royal family who might have wanted these days to be smoothed out like a red carpet in the run-up to the coronation. So these were the big revelations about his brother, who had reached a private settlement with the publishers of The Sun and the former News of the World. So people were claiming online that it was an attempt by Prince Harry to undermine William and, the wider royal family at the time that they were hoping to build up a more positive public mood as they head to the coronation. But interestingly enough, as I've said, from BBC, they are expounding why Prince Harry had to bring that information to the public. And answering the accusation that he was trying to undermine William and the rest, they say, but that is very much not the intention, according to sources close to Prince Harry, who is said to be following events in the High Court in London by video link from the US. From Prince Harry's perspective, the reason for unveiling Prince William's deal was a purely defensive measure, a, quote, shield, not a sword, end quote, as a necessary piece of evidence to stop the newspaper group from closing down Harry's claim on the grounds of it being out of time. While the publisher's news group newspapers might say that these claims should have been brought years ago, highlighting Prince William's settlement in 2020 provides proof that there were still relatively recent negotiations and payouts taking place. Prince William's spokesman has declined to comment on a, quote, ongoing legal process. But there was a very large sum paid in a settlement that would raise further questions of what happened to the money. For instance, they were asking, did it go to charity? More questions are raised by another key part of the argument against throwing out this case for being out of time, in what Prince Harry's court documents call the, quote, secret agreement. This is claimed as a deal between the palace officials and news group newspapers in which cases involving the royals would be dealt with after other cases had been settled, to avoid embarrassing court appearances or hacking evidence being put into the public domain. So Prince Harry says he was, quote, kept out of the loop about this, not least because it would have, quote, infuriated me and I would have insisted that I would be allowed to take action, especially given my extremely difficult relationship with the press at that time, end quote. So that's what Prince Harry said. This article goes on to elaborate that from Prince Harry's perspective, this was a smoking gun, which meant he couldn't bring his case until hundreds of others had been settled. From the perspective of the newspaper's publishers, this is a gun that didn't smoke because it never existed. The lawyers for news group newspapers rejected such claims, saying, quote, there was no such secret agreement. And the newspaper group also suggests Prince Harry must have known about reports of the hacking at a much earlier stage, having been at the epicenter of the story, and they argue that he could have acted sooner. So it's interesting, the shift of the claim from no hacking to he didn't pursue this legally in time. Prince Harry said that his father, the king, discouraged his legal action. The relationship is depicted by Harry as an uncomfortable trade-off, with the royals wanting to keep the press, quote, on side because they were, quote, incredibly nervous about the potential for public embarrassment if a royal had to go into a witness box or if an intercepted voicemail had been revealed. But sources close to William reject the claims that any settlement could be seen as a sign of a cozy deal with the press. They go on to say that his deal with them could have been pragmatic to draw a line under a legal claim. So Prince Harry also says this quite standout quote, "What I complain of here is about illegal and unlawful activities, and that is something which I feel incredibly strongly about, not just in a personal capacity, but as part of the role I have always taken on in terms of my duty to stand against things which are unjust," end quote. So he was also motivated by the impact of hacking and press hounding, including for his mother, Princess Diana, that had intruded on every area of his life and had been made to feel like, quote, a third party in his relationships. So yes, that's where I will pivot here to the story where he claimed that Piers Morgan, quote, knew about, encouraged and concealed illegal targeting of Diana, Princess of Wales, when he was editor of News of the World. Harry alleged that his mother's private texts and phone calls were obtained by journalists working for the Rupert Murdoch tabloid newspapers, with the information used as the basis for multiple stories in The Sun and News of the World. So he listed a number of articles published during Morgan's time as News of the World editor between January 1994 and August 95. And some of these include, quote, Di's cranky calls to married Oliver. She called 3 times in 9 minutes and hung up as she heard Oliver's voice, end quote. And that was about Diana's alleged relationship with the art dealer Oliver Hoare. Hope I'm saying that right. And another article was titled, quote, Di's Roam Alone, about Diana flying to the US on holiday and leaving behind Princes William and Harry with other members of the royal family. Another title was It's Diana or Me, Di. Will, my dear friend, not my lover, Carling sneaked into the palace when the boys went out, end quote. So this is about Diana's alleged relationship with the England rugby player Will Carling. And then another one was titled Di's VJ Day Fury over Tiggy, end quote. This was about a supposed dispute between Diana and the royal nanny, Tiggy Leggeberg. So several of these stories were written by Clive Goodman, the newspaper's royal correspondent, who would be later sent to prison for hacking William's voicemails. That's part of his allegations there. And he also alleged that journalists working for NGN obtained messages from Diana's personal pager, a device used to receive text messages before the widespread use of mobile phones. I find it interesting that that article has to explain what a pager is. Anyway, they go on to say that, Harry claimed that journalists working for Murdoch newspapers intercepted personal phone calls and messages sent by his father, now King Charles, and his stepmother Camilla. We covered that yesterday. And he also suggests that the Murdoch newspapers conceal their illegal activity, publicly criticizing Diana's, quote, paranoid delusions about being illegally targeted, when in reality she was, quote, under close surveillance and her calls were being unlawfully intercepted, end quote, by individuals working for The Sun and News of the World. Prince Harry is going all out. He is laying bare a lot of these behind-the-scenes secret deals, as he said, and there are a lot of loose threads that have been raised by this case. Prince Harry is showing no signs of letting up. It was quite interesting that as NGN was pushing back on Harry's claims, saying that he had let too much time lapse, once again pointing out the fact that they do not deny the illegal activity, they're just trying to get out of this by some kind of loophole. They're arguing that he has waited too long to file his case. And they're keeping on to say that he should have realized that he was a potential victim of phone hacking at the time when it was brought to his attention concerning William. So it's interesting that the judge overseeing the case said that he was troubled by a, quote, inconsistency in Prince Harry's allegations. Harry claimed he knew about the alleged secret deal that prevented him bringing a legal case against Murdoch's company in 2012, while also claiming he only fully appreciated the scale of phone hacking properly in 2019. Sherborne, Prince Harry's lawyer, said that Harry was serving in the military at the time of many of the key phone hacking revelations and had limited access to publications that were reporting on voicemail interception at News of the World and other outlets. The lawyer said, quote, he was on active service in Afghanistan and they didn't have The Guardian, end quote. So what a meta moment right here, because I'm reading that from The Guardian. So they had a very nice product placement or shout out right there in the court proceedings. So yes, Prince Harry, he talks about that private arrangement, according to him, between the monarchy and publishers of The Sun to keep the royals out of the courtroom. And he said that his grandmother knew about the deal, but he was not criticizing her, Queen Elizabeth, or Britain's royal family over that secret agreement with the newspapers. That's what his lawyer also told London's High Court on Wednesday. And he does say that he did not bring his lawsuit earlier because that agreement was made between Buckingham Palace and senior figures at NGN to avoid any public unpleasantness for them. So once again, back to how we started. He said his attempts to progress the case were made with the backing of the Queen, and they were stonewalled by NGN and royal aides. So this has really raised a lot of questions about these backdoor deals. As the correspondent that I highlighted in the beginning of this video pointed out, that they said that they indeed did see emails which revealed the Queen gave Prince Harry her full authority for him to seek action against what had happened concerning the hacking. And yet it is quite fascinating that in some of the press pushback, all some people have ever heard is how Prince Harry disrespected the Queen. And he did not have her trust, they did not have any relationship, but this does show quite the opposite. So a lot is coming to light, and as I said, Prince Harry is relentless in his pursuit of justice. He is said to be, quote, disgusted by, quote, the immoral and complete abuse of power that they took, and he is going all out. Questions will be asked and answered. So I hope all in all the judge will have to decide, because the claim should go ahead, because in fact we have seen they have been settling for decades. Some of these groups, they have settled for astronomical amounts of money for these illegal activities, and it's just for this judge to know that this case to go ahead. And I think that this is quite clear that this current claim go ahead to a full trial because, as I said, questions need to be answered. So let me know your thoughts on these updates in the comment section below, and always keep in mind when you see certain pushback against Harry in some of these outlets, it's because he is pursuing legal action against them. He already has other cases against other newspaper groups lined up for the days following the coronation, and of course 2 other claims in progress. So let's pray for Prince Harry, let's pray for the judge as well to make the right decision and let justice prevail. So thank you all for watching. Once again, share your thoughts on this in the comment section below. As always, before we log off, I'd like to give a special thank you to those who support this channel financially, to my Patreon, PayPal, and membership supporters. I would like to give a heartfelt thank you and a shout out to a couple of you here by name. Thank you to you, Ray Raquel. You are so generous and kind. I do appreciate the support that you've given my work here. Thank you to Ruth C. Ruth, thank you for your love. Thank you for how you've been such a blessing to my work and to me. God bless you. Thank you to Daniel Medical as well. I do appreciate you for choosing to join and walk with me on this YouTube journey. I pray for God's special blessings upon you. Thank you. Thank you. And to Sagan Ajos, my sincerest appreciation for your love and your kindness and your generosity. Thank you, thank you. Now a special thank you to those who gave during the last live. Thank you to Black Queen. Thank you for how generous you've been to this channel time and time again. I pray for God's blessings to abound upon you. Thank you, and I love you. Once again, thank you to all who like, comment, and share. And if you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and click that subscribe button. It does truly help out the channel. Leave your thoughts on all of this below. I love you all, and I will catch you in the next one. Have a blessed one.